My boyfriend left me to study abroad and my life nearly ended, but his way of being with me changed my life. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 2 years and I heavily depended on cuddling with him to fall asleep because he was the only person who calmed my anxiety. I was overstimulated and felt trapped in my average daily life. My boyfriend made all of these thoughts go away and made me feel calm, but he recently went to study abroad for psychology and I have never been so devastated. I was worried that our relationship wouldn't survive long distance and I was scared that my mental health would deteriorate without him. But studying abroad was important to him and I didn't want to hold him back. He promised to always call and text me whenever he could, and he stuck to his word for the first 5 months. We always talked and he told me about how wonderful studying abroad was. I was glad he enjoyed his time there, but with him on another continent, my mind spiraled out of control. I could barely sleep because I was constantly thinking that he was going to find someone else and leave me. Then, I was falling asleep in my classes for weeks, which meant my grades were slipping. I repeatedly called out of work to study and make up my missing assignments, and I was so mentally exhausted that I just couldn't work well. Having to do all of that while sleep deprived was a nightmare. After spending 6 months away from my boyfriend, I finally cracked and told him all my worries. He said he called me a lot because he liked hearing my voice. He also carried a picture of me on his clear phone case and bragged about me any chance he got. I started sobbing as he spoke and then told him about how I missed cuddling him. He said he would send me a care package with some of his things to feel like he was always with me, and he would find something to help me sleep better. A week later, I got my care package from him and called him because he wanted to see my reaction to everything he got me, so that's exactly what I did. We went through every item the package had, like his hoodies, shirts and cologne, but there was also a sleep pod, and when my boyfriend saw my confused face, he said that it's supposed to help me sleep better since it would replicate the feeling of him spooning me. He told me that he was learning about deep touch therapy in his psych class, and all I needed was a firm but gentle pressure to get me to relax and feel calm and at peace as I slept. It was like a giant cocoon, and he said to imagine he was cuddling me to sleep. I swear that was the hardest I had ever cried. He told me to use it whenever I felt lonely, anxious and having trouble sleeping, so 24/7. When I was getting ready for bed, I sprayed the sleep pod with his cologne to get the feeling that it was him and tucked myself into it. Immediately, the pod wrapped around me and I quickly sank into it. It was really snug since it molded perfectly onto my body. The one he got me even had a pocket to stick my leg out like I always do when I sleep. He knows me so well. Just minutes later, I was falling asleep because of how comfortable it was to be engulfed by a warm blanket. I was so calm that my thoughts finally shut up. My mind was just empty. The pod made up for all the sleepless nights I had and my anxiety went away after settling into it. I was out like a light for the first time in months and I was full of energy the next morning. 3 days after consistently sleeping in the pod, my life was getting back together. I was so stress-free that I went to classes ready to learn. My brain was fully awake. I realized that I didn't have to snooze through classes anymore because I was easily paying attention and doing the work since I was sleeping consistently every single night. It was the most productive I had ever been. Only cuddling with my boyfriend made me feel this energetic, so I knew the pod was the one getting me into a deep state of relaxation that allowed me to sleep. Before resting properly, I really didn't have the strength to do anything, and that included working. But now, I was fine going to work and not even the rudest customers could affect my mood. I called my boyfriend later, only to find out he had also bought a sleep pod because I had told him that I was living life on easy mode by just sleeping consistently and waking up refreshed. Though, I realized I couldn't be dependent on my boyfriend forever, so I booked my first therapy session next week.